Everyone, welcome to the Cow's Opinion here on the channel. Today, we're going to look at things like Blizzard and a weird conspiracy going on in Japan, as well as other stories. But what is a Cow's Opinion, you might ask? A Cow's Opinion is where I go through the latest and greatest gaming news and give you my opinion. But remember, it is a Cow's Opinion. Don't get mad, because it doesn't matter. It is a moo point. And we're starting off right now with the dumpster fire that is Blizzard doing the thing that I never thought they'd do, which is leaving China. Today, Blizzard Games announced that their Chinese licensor NetEase is going to end their agreement, and as of 2023, Blizzard games will not be playable in one of the biggest markets in the world. Now, if you don't know, China is run by a government that does not like foreign-made stuff. Whenever you try to do anything in China, to sell a product or a service, they force you to work with a subsidiary company in China and put a large portion of the profits there. Because China is such a big population, companies have been willing to do this, but maybe not anymore. So NetEase, which is the service provider for Overwatch creator Blizzard has been using to bring its games to China for 14 years, says they will no longer receive service in the mainland China on January 23rd, 2023, and is not going to be renewed. One NetEase employer has been saying that we will one day know how one jerk can end everything. The CEO was quoted as saying, "We have put in a great deal of effort and tried with our utmost sincerity to negotiate with Activision Blizzard so that we could continue our collaboration and serve the many dedicated players in China. However, there were material differences on key terms, and we could not reach an agreement. We will continue our promise to serve our players until the last minute, and we will make sure our players' data and assets are well protected in all of our games." Now, Diablo Immortal, the latest cell phone game, is not covered under this particular agreement. Maybe Blizzard saw this coming? I'm not even sure. So Blizzard has been saying that Chinese players need to anticipate a sales suspension in the coming days, but add-on releases are going to continue as planned, although it's mid-November. Anything that comes out is not going to have a very long shelf life. Now, neither company is placing the blame or attacking each other over this like I would really expect. But the Chinese gaming population is understandably upset. Blizzard makes some of the most popular, well-played games in the world, and they are not happy. Now, nobody has responded for comments, and it's not sure if Blizzard is the jerk or what. But an email obtained by the Washington Post, Blizzard President Mike Ybarra has cited a mismatch in values. "Every few years we review our agreement with them. We have been working through this process in good faith to extend our existing agreements. However, their approach was not aligned with our commitment to players, employees, and our operating principles." And he also said that Chinese esports partnerships will also be impacted. Well, obviously, you can't have an esports team for a game that you're not allowed to have in the country anymore. Now, NetEase is refusing to comment on what material differences is. Here's the thing, guys. This shocks everybody. If you remember, a pro Hearthstone player who had a pro Taiwan or pro Hong Kong message got suspended, and Blizzard actually took a lot of heat for carrying the company's water. A lot of companies from here in the United States, notice Nike is another one. They're always making excuses. The NBA is really pathetic because the NBA players will stand up for injustices that they see here in the United States, but they always say, well, we don't get political when they're asked about Chinese issues. And it's because the communist government can just put so much money in your pocket that it's easy to turn your head and ignore what you're seeing. But we know that that's not right. So, based on the story that we know, NetEase is arguing that Blizzard has a jerk. However, for once in this little news segment's history, I might actually be willing to give a little bit more than a 50-50 shot to Blizzard being in the right. Now, we know that you have to have a company in China to sell your products there. NetEase obviously would try to get as much money as possible, as well as there are always concerns about your data privacy, about your game code, about your IPs. It is entirely possible. We have no proof yet. This is wild cow speculation. I'm mooing into the wind right now. But it's entirely possible that NetEase just finally asked for more than even a company desperate to do in China could possibly agree to. And Blizzard, for the first time in years, did the right thing and said, no, we're not going to do that, and is walking away. The lateness into the contract tells me that they were probably doing this all year. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this continues to unfold, and if more game companies are going to start having the same issues with their Chinese licensees. Remember, China doesn't... There's been a couple of interesting Chinese studios that have popped up, but a lot of the Chinese game market with NetEase and Tencent is because they force outsider companies to license through them, and then they take cuts that they're not really entitled to. But we're going to have to come back to that, and hopefully we get more information soon. I'm kind of hopeful that it turned out that Blizzard was at least a little bit of a good thing here. It's entirely possible Blizzard said, hey, we need more money, but then again, they are making the games. They should be making the majority of the money. I'm just saying. It's weird being on Blizzard's side in this show. Does anyone else feel weird? It feels weird. Oh, I got a chill down my spine, and not the good way. And speaking of chill down your spine, a legendary Sonic designer was arrested in Japan for a scandal with the Dragon Quest series. The proper response to this story is, Nani? Guys, it's been a weird 24 hours because multiple people in the gaming industry in Japan, or all around it, have been arrested on insider trader charges related to Dragon Quest, including legendary Sega designer, excuse me if I butcher your name, Yuji Naka, is reportedly among them. So there's a studio called Aiming, which a couple years ago got to announce the development of a new Dragon Quest game called Tact. If you don't know Japanese RPGs in the Japanese market, Dragon Quest is probably the Japanese equivalent of Call of Duty here in America. It is huge. There's even rumors that the nation of Japan's government has said that they can't release a Dragon Quest game except on a Friday because too many people will call in sick. Now, I don't think that's actually true, but the Dragon Quest games usually do come out like on holidays and long weekends just because they know the players want to play them. So when a Dragon Quest game drops, it's a big deal. It's a major money maker. Now, it's been first alleged that 38-year-old Square Enix employee Taisuke Sasaki, who has worked on Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, which are pretty big, knew that a studio called Aiming was going to develop a game for Dragon Quest called Tact. And because he knew of the deal before it was publicly announced, he did a big no-no, which is he and a friend bought shares in Aiming. Because, again, Dragon Quest is a huge thing in Japan. And if a small studio or just a very unknown studio suddenly gets to make a Dragon Quest game, it's going to make the studio a lot more valuable because if the game's any good, it's going to make a lot in sales. Going back to Naka, who is age 57, and credited as one of the main creators of Sonic the Hedgehog and has worked on things from Nights into Dreams and Phantasy Star, has also been arrested. He also had insider knowledge of the Aiming deal and took the opportunity to purchase 10,000 shares in the company. Now, he parted ways with Square Enix in April of 2021, but these allegations are from 22, when he still worked there and would have had access to. He was arrested by the Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office, which is like, it's kind of hard to say. I live in America, the United States, and I'm not sure if we have something analogous to them. Basically, in Japan, the prosecutors have more control of the police, and some officers from the public prosecutor's office came and arrested him. He's rumored to have bought 10,000 shares for 2.8 million yen, which is about $20,000 or United States dollars. Sasaki, meanwhile, is accused of buying 26.4, real greedy, for 188,000. Now, authorities have yet to disclose whether any of the three men arrested so far still own those shares, or if they have been sold off for profit prior to the investigation. he should have joined Congress, and doing that would be perfectly okay. There is I know a lot of gamers aren't into the market and companies like I am, but there is a Twitter account that's been following Nancy Pelosi, who was, up until like literally today, the leader of the House majority in our government, who apparently was making lots of deals, possibly based on insider knowledge, but it wasn't really illegal, or I guess they just don't care. So basically, these three guys knew information that would move a company's stock prior to the public knowing, and decided to get in on the deal, hoping that when the new Dragon Quest game got announced, released, and sold well, they could sell their shares for a ton of cash. And it looks like the authorities in Japan have been running some kind of sting, or somebody tipped them off. And they're not saying yet, but they have arrested at least 3 people. That's just... And I'm surprised that 2.8 million and 26.4 million is... I mean, if you live in America or you use United States dollars like I do, 20K is not that big of an amount. 188,000 is actually a pretty good amount. How much was the stock going to go up? I don't know. Double, triple, even 10x? It's hard to say. But hey, even if you can just double your money in a period of like 2 or 3 years, that's insanely good. The average investment takes between 7 to 10 years to double. When you look at it, I mean, I know we've all heard of like Tesla and other things just jumping and to the moon and all kinds of diamond hand stuff, but even if it only went up a couple of times in just a couple of years, you could make a lot of money. And I know that 20,000 is a lot, but remember, in Japan, 2.8 million yen is a lot. You can buy some really nice stuff for 2.8 million yen. I'm just saying. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this story. What is going on? Blizzard leaves China? And now they're arresting legendary game workers for insider trading? I don't understand what's going on. But we're going to move on to our next story, you guys. This is just weird. And our final story for your weekend update is probably one of the biggest games of this holiday season. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet have come out. And while the games are being praised, the issue is that it's not looking good. Not review-wise. Reviews are good. But as you can see from this little animation we got playing, there's some animation problems with this. So the critics are noting that the game is fun and Pokemon fans are going to love it, but the game, the Nintendo Switch, can't seem to run the game properly. We've got some really great things. You just saw that bridge up here was just like kind of pops in and disappears. We have people just popping into existence. You can kind of see those two people walking inside each other. The sandwich does not go into her mouth. I think that's just more of a weird choice. Huh? A trainer's arms going through the eye socket.
Yeah, so as you can see,
Sorry.
correct way to ride a Koraidon. If you are not doing it in this way, then you're not playing Pokemon Scarlet version and Pokemon Violet version correctly. If your arms and your fists are not coming through your eyeballs, then you are riding a Koraidon in the incorrect manner.
Okay, hang on. It's not looking very...
Probably fix that.
You can kind of...
Yeah, so as you can see...
We can see, yeah, he's facing the wrong way. His arms are like glitching through his head. The camera loses the player. How bad is this one? Seems fine so far. Don't know what's wrong with this one. Schrodinger's Pokemon. Pokemon have been stuck in walls. Character bodies stutter as they walk. The Pokeball makes the camera clip into the ground. T-pose during cutscenes. Oh god, that's terrible. Hang on. The legendary Pokemon you get to ride turns invisible. Oh, damn. I didn't mean to. Look, it's a lot of bad, janky stuff, just like kind of like this video one. Lightning, my God, there's so many. Pokemon can duplicate when involved. The duplication is purely visual, but it's funny to think of the evolution as a buy one get one free deal. That's really I want to watch this one. Hang on. I'm gonna turn this down so we don't blow out your eardrums.
200 bits. Let's go. We
Damn
killed a
it!
big
Why
bird.
this Kotaku site's not working very well?
200 bits. Let's go.
Let's see.
We killed a big bird.
There's an attack called U-turn now. What?
Oh, what?
There's two of them now.
He cloned himself. There's
Yep.
another one of him.
So the speculation online is that the game is just not optimized for the Switch performance because the Switch is having trouble running it properly. It's not a massively graphically intensive game. This is not the new Final Fantasy next year or Call of Duty or anything. They're pretty sure the issue is a combination of the fact that Game Freak is a smaller studio and that they're trying to pump out Pokemon games as fast as possible and they're just not giving them enough time to optimize. So that's there's always a chance of patches and stuff that are going to come help these performance. You can see, like I hear, there's the bridges go popping glitched. It's going to pop in all the way. So yeah, that's unfortunate. If you're playing Pokemon, let me know in the comments below if you're having any problems. I was watching a couple of buddies play on Twitch, and yeah, they are having graphical errors and the reverse riding, some sliding. There's a hack where if you can go up places you're not supposed to if you jump backwards, all kinds of stuff. But guys, that is your weekend news for the weekend. Thank you so much. You can like, comment, and subscribe down there. We are trying to get to 500 subs. And I will see you on the next video. Play more games because games are awesome and you deserve awesome. And I'll see you then.